All right, welcome everyone to BizSugar Live. This is a series of webinars we present by the BizSugar Mastermind community. They occur on the second and fourth Wednesday of every month at noon Central. And hopefully you'll all come to all of our events, which you can see at the blog.bizsugar.com at the webinar link. Today, we're really fortunate to have with us Rhonda Wall. She's going to be talking about marketing automation, which does a lot more than most people realize. Rhonda has self-described, or someone described her as the dominatrix of online marketing strategy and business automation.
That would be even a.
Oh, even said other marketing consultants look to her experience for advice for their own clients. She's the driving force behind successful online businesses of leading coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs across many niches. And she's currently working with clients as a high-level consulting partner. She's also considered a social media influencer and is sought out for promotion by game-changing online business automation platform teams. And she's the publisher of Hey Help Me, Rhonda, which she can tell us about more at the end of her presentation. Take it away, Rhonda.
Okay, absolutely. So yeah, like Gail said, we're going to talk about some marketing automation today. And I'm going to kind of get you started with marketing automation in this webinar. There's a lot of things you can automate, of course, and don't have time to cover all of them. So I want to do the basics and where people usually get caught up and have the most questions. So starting with that and with the most questions, most of the time it's choosing a platform that people get stuck. They're not sure what to use. There's lots of options out there. We have Zoho, of course. You have Kartra, ActiveCampaign, and Infusionsoft. They're just a few that I kind of pulled and are kind of popular. But there's a lot of good platforms out there too, and some coming out every day, I think. But the main things when choosing a platform you want to consider is, I know everyone wants to consider cost, but when you're considering cost, you also want to consider the ease of use. So if you're trying to go it alone and DIY it, then you want to find something that's user-friendly or has a lot of guides to get you through places where you might get stuck. Because if you're not very techy, or it's a platform that's not as user-friendly or easy to learn, then you're going to have to consider the cost of hiring a VA or someone techie to help set it up. So you want to consider that as well when choosing a platform. Another thing to take into account is your growth goals. So right now you may have a small list and you're planning on growing that list. So you want to see, what your cost will be as your company grows, and picking a CRM and marketing automation that's going to grow with you. Because once you get all your stuff set up in a platform, it really is, a massive feat to take all of that and set it up, somewhere else and get it running there. And there can be some glitches and interruptions in that when you're setting that up. So in platforms, consider that as well. Consider what all your business is going to need. Are you going to need, a membership site? Things like Kartra come with membership sites. You have Zoho that has, a bunch of different apps for things where you can run your business all in one place off of the same software. Or you can do, your webinars. You can build landing pages. So just kind of having a list and knowing what it is that your business goals are going to be and your automation goals are going to be when choosing a platform as well. So those are just some of the things that kind of an overview of considering. I get that question a lot: which platform should I be using and which one's better? And there are a lot of good platforms out there. So that's a loaded question, and it kind of depends on what your needs are, what your business needs and growth will be as well. So the next thing in marketing automation, your marketing objectives for everyone is to capture leads, of course, getting that person's name, their email address through either your lead magnet or a networking event. And then your next objective is to nurture them. So then you want to build that know, like, and trust that nurtures them into potentially a client or a customer. So that's second objective. And then we're going to convert the buyer. So convert them to a buyer. So that's that would be our third objective, and the end result of them working with you or purchasing your product or your service. So I'm going to kind of cover some of those objectives and how you can automate them. So number one is your lead capture. So lead capture could be a lead magnet where you're giving away, you're doing like a free giveaway, a download, some information, or maybe a discount. Maybe you have them put in their email address in exchange for giving them a discount code for a product or service. Networking is another way that people are capturing leads, and I'll show you something really cool if you don't know about it here in a few minutes to capture your leads that way. But you know, if you're attending conferences, now we can have in-person events, which is awesome. I miss those a lot. So those networking events and face-to-face meetings are good ways to capture that lead as well. And then a website capture. So you may have a newsletter, sign up to sign your list, or like I said, you may have like that coupon offering if they give their email address and get them on your list that way. So you want to automate that lead capture. So lead magnets, I wanted to talk a little bit about, because I have people ask me for ideas on generating a lead magnet. They're not sure what to use to get the lead in the door. And so a lot of times what I'll recommend is just doing a simple kind of tips PDF that they can download. So whatever it is that you focus on, so, you know, say your business is weight loss related or productivity related, then you could give like, 10 tips for, getting started with your new diet lifestyle, or 10 tips for being more productive in your day, or, whatever. That's something simple. It's information that's already in your head that you could easily turn into a PDF download and would be of value to your customer, to your lead. So just kind of think about what information it is that would be of value for your potential customer or client, and give them that in a lead magnet. So it doesn't have to be something elaborate. A lot of people think they have to write a complete ebook or something in order to have a lead magnet. And then they're just delaying their time of actually collecting the leads that they can nurture. So that's an idea that I kind of give to create a quick lead magnet. And then this is the networking tool I was going to tell you guys about. So this actually has to do with Zoho, but they actually have where when you're at a conference and you have a business card, you can just scan the business card in, and then they become a lead or contact in your CRM. And then you can also set up your marketing automation. Because I know a lot of times you go to these in-person events, you collect all these business cards, and then, you have to wait till you get home, or you get them to your assistant to put them in the system and then reach out to someone. Sometimes, a lot of times it falls through the cracks, and people end up with, a bunch of business cards sitting on their desk, and that's not doing you any good. So this is a good way to reach out to that contact right away. And usually when I set up a campaign for email automation on the card scans, and Zoho isn't the only platform that does this, but I use them, so I'm using it as an example. But a lot of the other CRM platforms do this as well. So you can set up automation for when you scan in that business card, and maybe you want to make it look a little organic, and not have it go to them like right away. Like they're like, you just walked away. I know you didn't have time to really send me an email. So what's up? So maybe have it delay a couple of hours, or maybe the next morning, and just have an email that goes out to them right away that makes that connection, so that they remember you and you're forefront in their mind of just saying, hey, it was really good meeting you at such and such event. And I'll set this up like before I go to an event, or before a client goes to an event, so we can mention the actual name of the event. So that kind of helps. So that rings a bell. They're like, oh yeah, okay. And then telling them a little bit more about you, reminding them, what it is that you do, or what your company does, what services you offer, how you guys might could work together, invite them to connect with you. So it's a really good way to touch base with someone right away and not forget about those business card contacts. And then the Zoho CRM, this is kind of some of the features that it has, and it does scan cards in 17 languages, which is pretty impressive. So yeah, so that's an option as well. So next is the nurturing. So once you have collected the lead, now you want to nurture them and build that rapport and that relationship with them. So why nurture? I found a few details online I thought I would share with you guys. On average, nurtured leads result in 20% increase in sales opportunities, and 79% of top marketing automation for 3 or more years. And purchases made by nurtured leads are 47% larger than compared to purchases made by non-nurtured leads. And 64% of CMOs have either an informal or no process to manage their marketing automation, which was kind of shocking to me that CMOs aren't tapping into the automating the marketing and marketing automation like they really could. So that was just kind of some interesting details. So now the nurturing sequence. So this is kind of the life or structure of what I recommend as a nurturing sequence. So you think about it, I always describe it as like, it's like dating. It's like building a relationship. So you don't want like your first email to be, hey, buy something from me. It's like, if you think about, if you're single or, we've all been single at some point and courting, you're courting. So you want to give a good introduction. You don't just, walk up to a lady or a guy and say, hey, will you marry me? First, you want to ask for their phone number. That's the lead capture. And then maybe talk to them, invite them on a date, let them get to know you, tell them more about yourself, that kind of thing. So that's kind of how I think about a nurture sequence and building that relationship and building that rapport. So your first email needs to be just welcoming them, maybe remind them how you connected, like I was saying before, give them a little bit more information about you, your business, your services, and that kind of thing. Don't try to make a sale. Next set of emails should be your building relationships. So this is where you share a little more about your business, about yourself. Stories are really good. So if you, kind of tell a story of why it is you do what you do, why you started your business, or a story about how you help people or how you help someone or how you helped a client or a business like theirs or a client like them. So they're getting to know you, you're building that relationship. And you can do that in about, I usually say like the next 2 to 3 emails need to be that building relationship. And then I would also, in those 2 to 3, invite them to connect with you over on social media so you can get that engagement going. Because we know, as business owners and in sales, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. And so that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to build that know, like, and trust. And so any opportunities you can get for them to engage with you, either through email, by them getting to know you, connecting with you directly on social media is always a really good way to get that engagement going as well. Then once you kind of got that relationship built through your email automations, then you can start to offer a product. And a lot of times if it's a new potential customer or client, maybe you have an introductory product. Usually I tell people, something that's like $100 or less, $97, $47. So whatever it is, kind of your entry level product or service or a consult. So if you offer like a free consult, then, that would be a good time to offer that. If you have an entry level product, you could offer that and also offer a discount on that for, them joining your list or being part of engagement with you. So that's kind of the life that I would take in a nurture sequence. So just think about the dating, think about building that relationship, and getting that date. So some other marketing automation ideas that I have for you guys. I just wanted to cover a few other things that you can do. So lead assignment, that's where you can create round robins. So if you have several different salespeople who are assigned to, leads for your business, that you want to automate that so that, each person is getting leads as they're coming in, they're being distributed the way you want them to. So if that's, evenly, or this person gets this many, this person gets this many, most of your automation platforms allow for that as well, so that you can automate that process. And then, and two, I would have, so if you're signing to salespeople, what I'll do a lot is, so if it's a round robin, whoever they get assigned to, I would then have the system automatically tag them and then put them into a marketing email campaign and have like a welcome email from that salesperson, so that it has that personal touch. Maybe let them know that, so-and-so will be reaching out to you. If you have questions before then, feel free to contact us. So that way you're getting that touch through the email automation even before the salesperson, has a chance to reach out to them or get them on their calendar. So that's a good thing to automate. Happy birthday emails, I like. If you're collecting customers' month and day of birth, you don't have to collect the year. Most people don't want to give you that anyway. But so if you're collecting that, or you can even ask for that, probably not in the first lead capture, I wouldn't ask for that, but maybe later on. And that could be like part of your nurturing that we talked about, of building that relationship, to say, hey, we love to recognize, we would love to recognize you for your birthday. You mind sharing your birthday with us? So that's a good way, and you can have that automated too by that birthday field. So in the CRM, their date of birth is recorded, and most all marketing automation and CRMs have the ability to do that. So you would pull that when that date happened in that custom field, or in that birthday field. It might not actually be a custom field, but in that birthday field, then it triggers for an email to go out to them. And so you could also automate with, there's some of the gift services, and I like to do this with clients, not necessarily leads, but you could. But with clients, I like to automate and set it up so that when that date is coming up, or however many days before the client's birthday, then it sends a notification to the gift service to send them a birthday gift, so that you don't have to remember that, or you don't forget that. And it's a good way for, to keep your client retention and, build that relationship with your client as well. And that can all be automated. So this is stuff that you're doing that's real personable, and reaching out to them, remembering them on their birthday. Everyone loves to be recognized on their birthday. So that's a really good thing to automate too. So like I said, you don't have to remember that. Send them an email, tell them happy birthday, that kind of thing. Another thing related to happy birthday, that's kind of an annual thing. And this is kind of a tip that I give to real estate agents, but can be applied to other businesses too. But a lot of times for real estate agents, I will say, set up like the date that someone closed on their house. So a year after that, maybe they get an email that says, congratulations on your first year in your new house, and, hope everything's going well. You can then ask for a referral. So you could say, keep me in mind if home, probably in the first year, they're not looking to move again, but maybe, or they were stuck at home for a year, and they're congratulating them on that milestone. But it's also a good way to ask for referrals in general. So you can set up an automated campaign to your existing or past clients or customers, and offer them some kind of incentive for a referral, or even reviews. You could use it for that as well. So if you want to build up your reviews or testimonials, those are also things that you could automate to go out after a certain period of time. So you could automate it to trigger from like the date of a purchase of something, and then then set up your different campaigns for what you want to do. So whether it's asking for a referral, maybe they get a discount if they refer someone, or maybe they get money or a gift card. People love money. So that's always good to, getting more leads and getting more referrals that way, and in that management. So those are other ideas of, things that you can automate. You can also automate your client retention and your resales. So if you have someone who purchased something, then maybe later you want to send them an email that says, hey, I noticed you, purchased this product. It works really well with like the actual physical products too. Probably works the best. So if they purchase something, maybe it's something, that complements that, or something else they might be interested in. Even if it's a service, you could have, an email that goes out that, thank you for working with us. Once a project ends or something, remind them of the other things that you can do. So all of that kind of stuff can be automated. And it saves a lot of your time of physically reaching out to people or physically sending an email, because a lot of times we get caught up in our business and running our business and don't really stay consistent with that. So I love to automate anything and everything I can automate, so that I can, be sure that I'm reaching out to people and not dropping the ball. And so automation really, helps you really stay on top of that and stay connected, stay in front of your potential clients and customers, and also for your client and customer retention as well. So I like to use marketing automation for that too. Other things that you can automate that is like webinars, like we're doing here, and doing some of the platforms that allow you to do the evergreen webinars. So it's kind of a record it once and forget it. But then behind the scenes, you have your emails going out, and they're picking their webinar times so they can come and attend that webinar. Most webinars at the end, you want to have some kind of offer on there. So you would have emails that are nurturing towards that offer. And most of the software now has, has the different triggers of, did they actually attend the webinar? Because a lot of people sign up and don't attend. So then you would send them into some automation to nurture them into actually attending the webinar. And then you can set up automation based on how long they stayed, how long they watched the webinar. Did they watch long enough to hear your offer? If they didn't, then you may want to nurture them to, finish watching the webinar. Hey, we see you came, but, didn't stay. Want to invite you to come back. And then once they have watched the webinar to your offer, then you can send out automation that nurtures them to your offer. It seems like a lot, and it can be. I'm not gonna lie. Like automating things can be time consuming. It can be a lot to do at first, but in the long run, it saves a lot of time and keeps you connected with people without you having to remember that. So just taking that time, and you don't have to set it all up at once. I tell people, you just eat it like an elephant. So just one bite at a time. So maybe you start with one small automation, and then, once that's running well, then you try another automation. I don't think you have to feel overwhelmed in automating everything at one time. especially if you don't have a lot of things automated now. But just, building on that and thinking about, I think about anything that you're constantly doing over and over can usually be automated in some way, especially if it's something you're doing online, like sending an email. So I would definitely think about all these things that are like sucking your time and taking your time or falling through the cracks because you're forgetting to do that. So marketing automation can become super elaborate and do so many things for you. So, anything's possible. Also, too, if you're not comfortable with it, there's, always ways to hire people to do this for you. You can find a VA that can set up the tech. Maybe you sketch out the ideas of, hey, this is what I would like to automate. So, what are the possibilities here? And talking with an automation expert and finding out, different ways of different platforms and ways that you can take some things off of your plate and focus more on your business instead of the little tasky and doing things. So that's my presentation. I also have for you guys, if you would like a marketing plan scaled to you and your business, some ideas, things like that, I do have a 97marketingplan.com. So what that is, it's $97. We get on a phone for about an hour. We go over what it is your goals are, things you're wanting to automate, some strategies, things like that. And then you have a full marketing plan by the end of our call that you can take and implement yourself or give it to your VA or have me implement. So if you want to go over to 97marketingplan.com, you can learn a little bit more about that and working with me. I also have a blog called Hey, Help Me, Rhonda. Help Me, Rhonda was taken, unfortunately. So I have a blog called Hey, Help Me, Rhonda. And over there, I give business strategies, a lot of marketing tips, and also more of the tech side of how to actually set up different platforms and do different things. And some of the major platforms like Zoho and Infusionsoft and ActiveCampaign, I do a lot too. So yeah, so I look forward to connecting with you guys that way and taking any questions that anyone has.
Yeah, we do have some questions for you. And I just want to say that I think Hey, Help Me, Rhonda is way more memorable for me than Help Me, Rhonda would have been.
Nice. No, everyone loves it.
People my age remember the song. So people younger than me may not know that reference, but older people would know that Hey, Help Me, Rhonda was a popular song a long time ago.
Yes, it was.
All right, so we've got some questions from everyone. Pierre said he was looking forward to your presentation. Then Sean, who always has great questions, says, what are your best tips for designing an automated marketing campaign that doesn't cause people to opt out?
That's a really good question. So my tips are, you don't want to bug them. Like, don't be the desperate boyfriend, girlfriend kind of thing. It's like I said, I like to think of it as like dating. So you don't want to bombard them like with massive amounts of emails coming through. So I would space out your emails by about 2 to 3 days. That first touch, you want to, reach out to them right away or within a day. But then after that, kind of space it out a couple of days. And so you're not bombarding them with stuff. And then if they're not engaging with that part of the material, give it a break for a little bit and then maybe come back with, something of value. So don't just be emailing to email or really, spamming your list and annoying them, because that's going to cause them just to opt out because they're going to get tired of it.
Well, I just want to say that no matter what you send, some people are going to opt out.
And that's true.
Not necessarily your fault.
It's not. And a lot of times people will sign up for things like that coupon or that the free gift. And that's really all they wanted. They want nothing else more from you. And so they'll opt out, and that's okay because they're not your people. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but people are so busy and they're so sick of all the email that even if you only email like we do every other week, basically, at most once a week, people still opt out. And unfortunately, a lot of times it's the people that would benefit most from what we're doing, but they're just trying to manage their inbox. And the busy people we're trying to reach are the ones most likely to opt out. And we can't really do anything about that. All right, so we're going to look at the next question. These are from Sean as well. What are the major ethical considerations when deciding whether to add people to your automated marketing campaign?
Yeah, so ethical considerations, I guess, like I said, using best practices in your email marketing and your automation. You can also set up confirmation emails. So that way, when they opt in, they get a confirmation email, they're confirming their email address. So, that's staying in compliance with, what you're supposed to be doing and having people opted in. You don't absolutely have to double opt in. Someone filling out a form on your website is implied consent to email them. But, that extra deliverability and really making sure they want to be on your list, you could do that. So that's an option for, making sure that you've got people on your list, and don't spam them. Don't get them on your list just to, completely spam them or bombard them with a bunch of emails.
I think the main thing is you can't just take people's email and stick it on your list because you want to. I think a lot of people don't realize that you have to let them choose. And there are a lot of people that are going to put you on their lists, even though you didn't give them your email, they got it some other way. And I think that's the main ethical thing is, did they ask? And if they didn't ask, don't go putting them on your lists. That's the big thing that I see people do it all the time, and it irritates me a lot. And so, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, and I never recommend like buying lists either.
No, they're usually bad.
I just don't like it. I think it's icky. I mean, I know some people do it, and and there are people who have asked for certain information, but I don't think for that best practice. I don't do it, and I don't recommend clients do it. Like you said, if they didn't ask to be emailed by you, then don't.
Exactly. I mean, that's just the main thing. So Sean also asked, what would you say is the best platform, blog, another website, social media group, YouTube channel, etc., to use for collecting leads?
Yeah, so the platform question I get a lot, and it kind of comes down to, like I said, you want to, consider usability, what it connects with. WordPress is what I usually recommend for your website and your blog, because it's easy to use. There's so many templates out there too that you can use to build websites and build landing pages and opt-in forms and things like that as well. And usually integrates really well, or you could put, your form codes from any CRM platform that you have on there, on your website, on your WordPress pages. You own the website. I don't really recommend like the Wix website and those hosted websites. I mostly recommend someone get a WordPress website. And like I said, it is pretty easy to use and set up yourself, especially for a simple website. And then for, collecting your leads and things like that, that kind of gives me, I want to talk about something else too, talking about your social media. So engaging with your social media group, I would offer your social media groups, free offers, free gifts, invites to a webinar, things like that, so that you can convert that social media contact into a lead that you can then nurture in a good, ethical way. Since we were just talking about that, but getting those leads from social media into your email list is great. Your email list is money. Most people buy it from email. And that's been, researched and studied, not by me, but I've seen it happen too. But no, the data's in, the data's out there. Most people are buying from email, so from online. So, converting those people over to your email list is also really good. So offer things that you can, get them to give you their email address and information in exchange for. So,
I-
but yeah,
And so even though I detest email in general because of the mountains of spam I get on my primary
right.
email, I have a different email I use to shop, and I do use it. And the places I buy from, I do open their emails, and I do get their discounts, and I do shop because of what they send me. And
Yes,
so
absolutely.
even me, someone who hates email, I actually use it for that one thing very well. I also use the
Mhm.
one at community@bizsugar.com for our work here, but my own personal brand and email is such a disaster because of spammers that it's so hopeless. It's just hopeless.
No, I have that. I have what I call like a promotions email. It's the Yahoo email address. And when I'm signing up for like free offers or free gifts or coupon codes or, here, like you said, from my favorite store, then that's the email address that I use. But I will buy. So I'll see something come through, from a store that I really like or something. And so, or Amazon, I'm addicted to Amazon. Amazon will send something through. Oh, you were searching for this, you might like this. And so, yeah, that email will get me back over there and looking and probably purchasing.
Right. So we're getting some feedback on the answers. So Pierre said it was a great point that not asking for their email, not having them actually opt in, is now unethical, especially with privacy consent concerns. And he agrees with you that there's just an ickiness factor in doing it, in doing that, buying a list, putting them on your list.
Yes.
I made a note while you were talking. So I do webinars all the time, but as far as I can tell, the webinar software that we're on right now, there's no way for me to know which part of the webinar people actually watched or who specifically watched the whole thing. I know that Wistia has that kind of analytics built into it, but
Mhm.
you're talking about sending people stuff based on how long they watched. What are you using to do that? Because I don't think we can do that.
Yeah, so you can use a software like EverWebinar. So it's by Webinar Jam. I know you've heard of that. So Webinar Jam and EverWebinar are owned by the same thing. So EverWebinar allows you to set up an evergreen webinar. So it's going to be after the live. Like, you're not going to do it during the live, but there is software too where you can tell who came to, your Zoom webinar. I don't know what would integrate with the Zoho one. I'd have to research that, but there are a lot of integration tools with other platforms as well. EverWebinar is one that kind of has everything already built in for you to do that, for you to take a webinar that you've recorded and then put it in there. You can even have the chat come up. So like the questions and the answers, things like that were going on, they can organically start to show up again as the webinar's playing. So it gives it that real feel. And then it is tracking because the people opted in, and it will track, whether how long they stayed or whether they even attended the webinar. It will send them reminders. So, and then you can set like however many times you want that the webinar is going to take place. So maybe, you could say, oh, there's one coming up right now. And it will cue it to like start right then. Then there's one in 3 hours. There's one tomorrow. There's one the next day. So usually I'll set them like 3 days out. But yeah, you can build the whole thing out in EverWebinar. Just in the emails, everything.
Okay, I've seen that a lot. I never knew what it was, but I
Yes.
know the difference between a real live event and a pseudo looks like live with
Right.
pseudo looks like real comments. And maybe they were real from a real event, but then they're
Yeah, and
just
usually they
automated
are.
in there.
Yeah, usually they are real comments. Of course, you can go in and just put comments if you want to. But most of the time it's, I will just use real comments, like, real questions or comments or, stuff, the interaction that was going on, because it does give it more of that real feel. I think with us being in the tech world a little more, we probably recognize it as, oh, that's not real, or I do right away too. but not everybody does. But you can do all these different things. It kind of gives it that more real feel.
Yeah, I'm sure we recognize lots of things on lots of sites that we know are manipulated, that the general public does not know are manipulated, like the testimonials and the so-and-so just bought X. I kind of doubt all those things, but all right. So we have another question from Pierre. It says, how frequently should businesses assess where their lead capture sources are shifting? Is the work from home movement really creating deep disruptions in how business owners should assess their capture frequency?
I don't know that the work from home movement has shifted. I mean, it's probably increased, because I think what's increased the most is people registering and signing up for online events, because we haven't had a lot of in-person events. So that has definitely increased. I actually, had a few clients come to me that wanted their once in-person event set up virtually and had never done it virtually before. So, and they're getting in front of more people than they normally would have, and having more people attend than would maybe attend in person, because, you don't have all the travel and flight and that expense too. So yeah, I guess, yeah, it has. As far as assessing where your lead capture sources are shifting, I would be doing that pretty regularly, and seeing, like, where are you getting most of the leads when you're putting things out there? What are you getting most of your leads from? So is your lead magnet doing really well? Are you not having that many people sign up for it? Are you getting more of your leads from, social media or Facebook or something like that? So, yeah, and that's something I would keep assessing to see how your lead capture is performing and where it's performing best, and what you might can do based on that audience to help.
Right. So when you have people sign up for things like webinars, you probably may remember that when you sign up for this webinar, there was a question, how did you find out about it? And so I can, after the fact, look and see how many people saw it on BizSugar Sharing versus BizSugar Mastermind versus the blog versus Twitter or Facebook or wherever. I think he's onto something, though. I think that people behave differently when they're sitting in an office where what they're doing might be more thoroughly tracked, or people might walk by. They might spend more time on Facebook now if they're working from home. If their employer doesn't have tracking on their devices, and some of them probably do. But for the people who feel like they're not being tracked by their employer, they may spend more time on Facebook now versus what they did when they sat in an office. Or they may do other behaviors. They may use their phone less or more than they did when they were in an office, right? So I can see how that could change. And so we could, if you wanted to, we could actually invite people in to talk with us, or we can end the webinar and just let everybody know they know how to reach you at Hey Help Me Rhonda and at 97 Marketing Plan. And these webinars we do every second and fourth Wednesday at noon Central, and we'd love you to come to more of them. If you go to blog.bizsugar.com, there's a tab at the top that says BizSugar Live Webinars. And if you click there, you can get to all of the past webinars, including this one. The video from this one will be added to the blog post. It usually takes a few days, but it will be added to the blog post so that you can replay it, you can share it, and you can also see all of the past webinars and all of the upcoming events. And so you can go to that one tab, see everything in one place, and know what's going to happen in the future. And so, unless someone, Pierre, did you have any other things? I see another Q&A came in. Martin asks, do you have a suggestion for a simple lead page email service that will set up a landing page with a PDF on well-being? So he wants a PDF to go out. So he wants a lead gen landing page that automatically sends a PDF when they sign up for it.
Yeah. And
like a
so
simple,
all,
like the one that you had on your presentation, it's, similar to that one.
yeah, so most any of your CRM platforms are going to give you that. Active Campaign is really easy to use. I like it too, where you can build your landing page right there, and have your form on there. And then when they fill out the form is then triggering that email to go out. Or you could have them land on the thank you page and then just have like a download button where they would download the PDF right there. And then also maybe send it in an email just in case they miss that page. Sometimes, you know, the internet might go out or the page might not load and they don't see it. So you want to also deliver the email as well. But most all platforms have that ability, or all platforms absolutely have that ability to capture that lead. And then, like I said, you could have them download from the thank you page, which is the page that they land on after they complete the form. And just have a download button there so they could get it right there without having to go check their email. But I usually do both. I'll have a download button and then also send an email just in case that page didn't load for them for some reason, or they had trouble downloading it. Or maybe they downloaded it, forgot they downloaded it, so they go to their email to check for the download. So I always follow up with an email as well too.
So the serious bloggers, the real serious ones who actually sell things, tend to use Active Campaign and Infusionsoft. I know that Get Response has a landing page built in. They now have an email solution that's also a marketing automation. It's all built in. So that's one to look at. Infusionsoft, I heard some recently, it sounds like it's super aggressive at deleting your contacts. Like if they don't open what you send them pretty quick, they get deleted. Now, there's the pro to that is you're not paying for people that aren't active. But the con to that is you're never going to grow a very good list if it's so aggressively deleting people. Because like me, I said I open the emails from the brands I buy from all the time when I have money. But let's say that it's slow, cash flow is slow for a couple months. I might not open any emails for a couple months. Then I get cash in. Now I'm opening every email to see what they're offering, right? So if they were using Infusionsoft, I would have got deleted from the list and I wouldn't know to come back. I would remember because I don't have that many brands I shop at. But the average person, if they drop off your list and they don't see you a lot around, then they are going to forget about you. And so personally, I think the cons might outweigh the pros when it comes to that aggressively deleting people from a list. I think you do have to clean your list.
People from a list, yeah,
and you do have to stay on top of your list, because I know that some bloggers got bit by AWeber because spammers would come, like a massive amount of spammers came and signed up for the list with invalid email addresses. But those got counted. They came in right when the renewal, the monthly whatever came. And so the blogger got triple cost that month, and they were all fake. And then they all went away because they were all fake. But
yeah, and there's some automation software too. There's one called Clean 13. That one's really good for cleaning your list and checking to make sure that emails are valid, so that you're not getting in trouble for sending the bogus email addresses, and it really messes up your deliverability.
Right. Yeah. Whenever I get, like when people sign up for a webinar, there'll be some percentage of not real emails in there, because people don't want to get the emails, and I can understand that. But
yeah, and it happens. People get bogus emails just to get through, but yeah, that's why that email confirmation works really well, of sending that email confirmation if you're seeing a problem with that. You can do the CAPTCHAs, but those can be annoying. But I mean, if you're having an issue, I try not to put those on unless it does become required, because it's just an issue.
All right. So I'm going to say Philip is trying to join us now. So that's sad, because that means he was off by an hour by what time he thought this was. And so I don't think he can hear me yet, but you'll be able to see the replay. And
absolutely.
Philip, can you hear us? I don't know if you can hear us
I,
yet.
it looks like his audio is still connecting.
Well, the problem is.
Yes, I can hear
okay.
you.
Hi, Philip. I
Second.
hate to tell you this,
Okay.
but the
Thank you.
webinar
Good
started
morning,
an hour
everybody.
ago.
Nice to meet you all.
Yeah, we're
That's
hearing
okay,
you.
That's all right. Rhonda's going to do the whole thing again.
Rhonda actually has a hard stop like right now, or I totally would.